The Archangel and Lilith have this hot and heavy, passionate night together. If you aren't caught up, this playlist has all the other episodes. Let's get back to the sexy Archangel. We left off yesterday that Lilith and the Archangel Semanglof were intertwined together, having this passionate night of love. She describes themselves as becoming one body. They became pure light together, shot up into the heavens. She describes the experience as feeling as she was reborn again. In her own words, she describes as what they were doing were sounds that were no less wondrous than the name of the Creatrix within me. She describes how her legs wrapped around him and makes a reference saying how wrong Adam was. Some things are just nameless. The feelings she was having were so wonderful, wondrous, and marvelous that not only she could not find words for them, she literally didn't know that these things existed. Her only experience with a man had been with Adam the first night in the Garden of Eden, where the only thing he did was stare into her eyes and hug her, and she liked that very much. Unfortunately, the next day, he came back with a very different attitude and wanted to dominate her and continued to belittle her, telling her that she was created to be on the bottom. And like every woman with a little bit of self-respect, she said bye-bye. So now Lilith is having this experience with this beautiful being of fire, this archangel, Semanglof. She goes on to say, when we moved around and through each other, he spoke to me in a strange tongue. And although I could not understand his words, it moved me, as if I could comprehend. My body felt as if it had been created for a second time. And when I lay beside him, I confessed, I did not know. And Semanglof looked at me with his icy blue eyes and said, my she-devil, how could you know? He asked while putting his palm on my forehead. When it was morning, Sun Vai and Sun Vai had returned to the cave and were again watching me while I was sleeping. At this point, Semanglof retreated to the back of the cave. Sun Vai shook his head at me, and he said, you had a decision. Now the child that grows in you will be a demon. But that will not be enough. Your appetite can now never be quenched, and now you will wander, and you will be looking for men to father your children, your demon children, which you will unleash onto this world. And you will never be satisfied. It can never be him again. So you will search, and they will come to you, men of this world and men of the darkness. Your race will live on earth alongside Adam's, but they will never belong to you. And the angels left her there. I stayed in my cave and went out during the days to swim in the sea. In the evening, my cave was quiet. The still of the sea at sunset blew through as to introduce night. At the same time, the melancholy began. The sense of solitude moved from my head to the cavity I had in my chest and rang. The place where desert meets sea was my freedom, but with freedom came loneliness. In Lilith's words, it's not that I expected him to return. Even when it was happening, when I was filled with such pleasure, I knew it to be momentary. We would burn together, and then he would be gone. It's not that I wanted to live with him, as I had with Adam.